Welcome to Keystone Symposia's Diversity in Life Science Programs Career Pathways Program. Today, I'd like to invite you to join me in welcoming Angela Sharpe, who is a member of our Diversity Advisory Committee, and she is also Deputy Director of the Collaborative for Enhancing Diversity in Science. So to begin, we're going to have Angela give us a brief overview of her academic and professional background and talk a little bit today about Capitol Hill and the White House and their role in shaping science policy and the scientific workforce here in the U.S. So Angela, just a little bit about yourself, and later I'll have some questions for you.
Okay. So I am a graduate of the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, where I have a degree in industrial relations and psychology, and also have a master in government from the Johns Hopkins University. I worked 7 years on Capitol Hill for 2 appropriations members on the House side. And from there, I have been at COSSA for the last 21 years doing advocacy on behalf of the social and behavioral sciences.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So let's get started. We're in the process of going through a presidential election cycle, so I'm sure that this will be of some interest to our viewers on how the Hill works, especially related to science. So what role do you think Congress plays in shaping science policy and the scientific workforce?
So Congress has a key role when it comes to scientific research and the scientific workforce. It is the ultimate decision maker, and it has the final say on everything when it comes to science, from the size of an agency budget to the nature of the regulations that the agency promulgates. And this power is exercised through its work, through the various committees, congressional committees that the members of the Congress have control over.
Okay, so what are those committees? What are the major committees on the House and Senate side that govern science policy and the budget, science budgets?
The major one, the most important one, I think, for science is the Committee on Appropriations. And then for NSF, there is the Senate Commerce, Justice, Science Subcommittee of the Appropriations Committee. For the House, it's the Commerce, Justice, Science, and Related Appropriations Subcommittee. For NIH, it's the House Labor, Health and Human Services, Education, and Related Agencies Appropriations Subcommittee, and its counterpart, the Senate Labor, Health and Human Services and Education Subcommittee. For authorizing, it would be the House Energy and Commerce Committee for NIH, I'm sorry. It would be the House Energy and Commerce Committee. And it has 2 very important subcommittees, and that they are the Subcommittee on Health and the Subcommittee on Oversight and Investigation. In the Senate, this will be the Committee on Health, Education, Labor, and Pension, known as the HELP Committee. And for NSF, it's the House Committee on Science, Space, and Technology. And its Senate counterpart is the Committee on Commerce, Science, and Transportation.
Okay, that's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot.
So do they get along? Do the House and the Senate committees that have jurisdiction over NIH and NSF, do they typically get along, or how does that work?
I would say yes, they typically is a lesson or exercise in compromise. So they tend to negotiate, and most of the time I think it's cordial.
Okay. So when NIH is seeking to renew its budget, how does that work? So they go to the committees of jurisdiction that you talked about, or do they go to the White House, to President Obama? How does that work?
So the beginning starts with the president in February submitting its budget to Congress. So Congress receives that budget, and so February, March, April, they hold congressional appropriations hearings, where the members of the executive branch go to Capitol Hill to defend the president's budget. And they have 2 hours conversations back and forth with questions about what the president has submitted.
Okay, so I know I've seen on TV where Francis Collins and from NIH will defend his budget. France Cordova at NSF will defend her budget. So that's part of the process too, or how does that work?
That is part of they're actually defending the president's budget. They work through OMB to come up with the president's budget. And they go to the Office of Management and Budget. I'm sorry, in Washington, we live by acronyms, as you know. So you'll have to probably call me on that. But they work with OMB, the Office of Management and Budget, to